I had this happen over on the BuzzPo. I went in BuzzPo.com. I went and put up a music video by a internet rap artist, Prince EA. His big thing is social justice. He's arguably a liberal. He has some libertarian tinges going on there, which is why I like some of what he has to say. I don't agree with him for the most part. Occasionally I do. When I put up this video, there were some people that actually did watch it. I don't think that they really listened to it as well as they could have. I think they made some assumptions about what he was saying, especially when they came out and accused him of being a socialist. I'm not entirely sure if he is. He could be. But the way that the video was framed and what he was saying in the video, and let's be real, he's a rap artist. So if he's going to bother to go and make a video, the imagery is as important as the words. In fact, the imagery typically gives the words, they'll use imagery to give words context. And he was talking about the possibility of helping those in need, those who are out of work. And when he said that, he showed a generic businessman with a briefcase and a suit, handing some dollar bills to a man who had a sign up saying that he was out of work, playing a panhandler. And this happened after another man in a suit went by and knocked the guy's cup out of his hand. What he was begging people to put money in. And the guy was handing him money and giving him his hand and helping him stand up. And then they hugged and walked away together. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but that doesn't strike me as the behavior of granddaddy government doing the whole handout type deal. That strikes me more on the level of just general charity. As in, is this guy really saying that he wants government to do this? Because the whole video is about him complaining to the president about how he has screwed everything up. So are you too quick to say that he's saying the government needs to help these people? Or is he really saying that it's time that the people stood up and started to take care of each other? Because we've discovered at this point that when the government gets involved, it gets hopelessly screwed up. And plays further to place it in context, he did a video before where he was in front of a building that was gutted in an urban center. And he was talking about how people need to get together and start listening to each other and base all of the important things in life on human interaction. And his stock and trade is to promote human interaction as opposed to relying on the smartphone, relying on electronic communication. He's beckoning people to get back to real human face-to-face interaction as opposed to putting ourselves in a buffer zone with electronic media between us. Yes, it's a touchy-feely message, but it's something that's heard on a regular basis from the pulpit across this country. I would wager that just about every minister in this nation has given a sermon similar to this at some point over the past year, and probably over the past several years with the rise of Facebook and Skype and instant messaging and smartphones. There's often a call for people to go back to the concept of human interaction, true charity, helping each other, not relying on the government per se to do all of these things because, the churches are typically involved in the concept of community outreach in a good way. So the unfortunate fact is that I had a lot of people who are conservatives who looked at this video and immediately relegated it to the realm of, I'm not going to pay attention to this man because I disagree with him on one or 2 points, or maybe a whole bunch of points. And maybe they totally disagreed with just about everything that they said, and I'm trying to think how that works, because he did point out quite a few things that theoretically should have been a good message that would have resonated with conservatives regardless, and unless they had, shut their minds to what he had to say because they assumed what he was. And that's a problem. We need to take information from anywhere we can get it. And even if you totally disagreed with the man, the point is that he was making a very important point. There are people like him who are starting to complain about Obama and turn back the clock, which is something else that I mentioned in the post accompanying the video. Go back to the Bush years. Remember Pink. I know quite a few people were annoyed with her. She did that song, Dear Mr. President. And maybe I should have pointed out in the article, hindsight is 20/20. Pink, when she did her article, or did her song, she was pointing out injustices outside of the U.S. primarily. She was talking about Filipinos that were in jail, and theoretically President Bush was there were Filipino children put in adult jails in the Philippines, not in the United States, in the Philippines. So theoretically, George Bush was supposed to fix this. Why, I don't know. I can understand her message where she was saying that, mothers would send soldiers off to their sons and daughters off to war and not be able to say goodbye. I can understand that. That's a message that it doesn't matter which side of the aisle you're on, you feel for those mothers. That's all there is to it. That's not a political statement per se. And then, of course, they had to throw in the content about she had to throw in about the cocaine and alcohol and whether or not he would go and hurt his daughters with his laws. And that's all fine and good. However, I'm looking at that song, and I did listen to it again when I was going and posting this video, the new video, complaining about Obama. Everything that Prince EA brought up had to do with things that have gone wrong in this country. He was legitimately fighting against what he saw as injustices started by who should have arguably been the man for him politically and as a black man, the first black president. If that isn't meaningful to conservatives, to see a black man, a rap artist, sitting there saying, this president has failed. I am upset about what this man has done. I am upset about what he has failed to do. Because he sold me on a concept that made me feel that I should support him, and then he disappeared and didn't do what he promised he would do. That's a meaningful and very, very important statement for conservatives to realize. Because then you go and couple that with the work of Rebel Pundit, which is making its way, that is making its way around the web now. Yet another video showing members of the black community that have become disillusioned with this administration, with Democrats in general, saying the Democrats have harmed them. Really? And why aren't we paying attention to them as conservatives, as Republicans? Why are we writing this off? You have a group of people who arguably put Obama in office and keep Democrats in office, and they are so disillusioned that they are taking to the interwebs and they are talking about it. And we're not listening. But we're going to bemoan the fact that we can't reach out to black voters. And I got news for you. The next wave that you're going to see after this election, because, you know, the election is right around the corner, although the rumblings are starting there because, you know, the articles have started to come out how Obama is failing at reaching Latinos. I wonder why. I'm going to take a little guess, and I have a sneaking suspicion that Jessica's sitting there like, oh my gosh, I want to just scream right now because she knows what I'm going to say. Could it possibly be that the Latino vote, the Latino voters, that voting bloc, is getting annoyed at the whole concept that a lot of conservatives have gotten annoyed with, the porous border and the open invitation from our administration saying to individuals from Central America and Mexico that essentially we're not going to stop you when you cross our border. We're going to go and suck everything in, and we're going to go and put you wherever we can all over the country. We're not going to worry about what we're going to do with you right away because, you know, we're heading up on the election. But after the election, we're going to have some leg room to go and deal with that. And we're going to go order paper to go and print your work visas and think that it's going to slide right by, and those goofy conservatives aren't going to notice that. And for that matter, the individuals who did everything that they were supposed to do to become legal residents of this country, we're going to pull the wool over their eyes too, and then we're going to cry whenever those people that went through the hell that you're supposed to become a citizen of the United States, which shouldn't be a hell, but that's a whole other story. Yeah, they went through all of the legal channels, but we're going to give preference to these illegal people, and we're going to treat them better than we treated the ones who did it the right way. And you wonder why you're losing